Let's talk about real quick the vote in Congress to suppress instances of sexual misconduct or impropriety or, things of that nature, right? Congress voted 357 to 65 to block the public release of records revolving around any sort of sexual misconduct or sexual harassment or any sort of impropriety within their ranks, right? People should pay attention to this because that's 80% of our congressional body, the people who make the laws in our country, the people who make the direction of our country, is actively campaigning for hiding their actions. Yet we keep electing these people, right? And I've seen people post things about we need to disband Congress and things of that nature, and that's a good idea, I think, but if we do that, it would be complete and total anarchy, okay? And we wouldn't survive through anarchy. We would essentially, it would be, the rich eating the poor more than it is now. It would be the haves taking even more advantage of the have-nots, which, whether you want to believe it or not, is us. We are the have-nots. We don't have power. We're just pawns in the game. How it became that way, I don't know. People want to talk about our founding fathers and everything like that. And yeah, they had a great idea for this country. And I still think the idea of America is great, right? But the idea of America and the practice of America and the implementation of that idea are clearly two completely different things. The founding fathers, first of all, were occultists. A lot of them. I can't say all of them, but a lot of them were. They masqueraded as Christians. They were not Christians. They were Freemasons and occultists, and Freemasons do not believe in the Christian God. And I don't believe in Christian God either. I'm not religious in that nature. I'm just saying that they're not who, they're represented as being, and that's pretty much true of everything with this country. I just don't understand why they could actively, in our face, promote the suppression of their depravity or their transgressions, and we're just allowing them to get away with it. So I think one way we can combat it, honestly, is for people not to vote en masse, like the whole country. If nobody was to come out and vote, it would freeze the system, and it would force a reset or a reevaluation, right? And I don't like saying this, but it's seeming more and more and more that there needs to be an uprising, and they're going to call it insurrection. And I'm not calling for a civil war. I'm just saying I think that's the way it's leaning, that it's going to have to go in order to right the disgusting things that are happening right now. Because tell me how people we elect and we put in public positions who are responsible to us and who are upholding to us, right? Or beholden to us, rather, is the word I should have used. It's really shocking to me that they can openly in our face wag their finger and say, no, you can't know about these things. We don't want you to know about these things. We won't tell you the truth. We won't let you know the truth. 357 to 65. So we need to figure out who them 65 people are in the congressional body who voted in support of releasing all the files of sexual harassment and impropriety and things like that within the congressional body. And we maybe need to protect those individuals, because our government, our elected representatives, are showing us openly in our face They're not there to support us. They're not there to represent us. They're not there to help us in the least. They're there for themselves, and they will do whatever is necessary in order to protect themselves and not us. Now, does all this tie in with Epstein and the Mossad and the Zionists and their campaign for blackmail and power and control worldwide? I don't know. Maybe. That would make sense, right? But I can't say for certain. I don't know. I don't really have all the time to dig into that. And I don't really have all the resources to dig into that. I'm just a guy talking, right? And hopefully it reaches people and they hear it and they start to open up their eyes a little bit, because it's not even that they're saying, oh, we are doing this to protect victims. No, they're actively and openly saying we're doing this to cover up what we've done and protect ourselves. 357 of our elected leaders or representatives literally spit in our face and said, we're going to do whatever we want and you're going to accept it, or we just don't care. So what we need to do is, I think we just need to not vote. That would be, I think, the least violent way to combat this and to open up people's eyes. And we need to figure out who them 65 people are, and we need to propel them forward. We need to put them in higher positions of power so they can expose all of this and we can get a reset going on in our country, because it's out of hand. It's completely out of hand. Now, with the Iran shit, I don't know. I support tearing down the oppressive regime, sure, but I don't really think that's our problem. We shouldn't be over there, but that is what it is. But it ties in with this, right? Because the same people who are saying they support what's going on in Iran are also the same people that are saying they don't want to release files to prove what they've done or what their colleagues have done. And we need to make some changes around here, for sure.